Yeah.
Bam, we're live. Did you think about when we said, hey, do you want to do the show at 7 a.m.? You're like, hey, dude, I'm West Coast. What the fuck?
No, I was like, thank God it's someone that's actually on the West Coast because everyone else I have to be. Is that my time or your time? Like me and Chase do that all the time. We've been doing our podcast for so long now, and every single text, hey, what time can you go tomorrow? 9 o'clock my time or 11 o'clock your time or
Yeah, yeah. Who's winning that? Whose time have you deferred to?
mine.
Yeah, fuck you, Chase.
Fuck you, Chase.
West Coast.
West Coast, the best coast.
No one even does. No one even. There's not even one notable CrossFit fitter in the middle of the country in Chicago. Chicago's in the middle. Is that where Chase lives? Chicago?
No, he's Dallas. He's
No,
in
he's
Texas.
as far as I'm concerned, he's Chicago. Don't ever correct me on my show again. Hey, did you see this post? Let's do crazy shit. You ready?
Whatever you want to do, man.
Okay. Tommy Marquez, Brian Friend, leave morning chalk up.
Okay. Are you asking me?
I'm just saying that I don't know. Yes, everything. Tommy Marquez was the number 1 guy there. Brian was the number 2 guy there. Like in terms of just like, that's who everyone kind of. Those were the guys. Just you know.
They
what
were
I mean?
they were the names. They were our names in the space, and they were the recognized names. And,
yeah, like Katrin was the number 1 in the stable at Comp Train.
Right.
Yeah, just and Tommy was number 1, and let's say Brian was Sam Quant or Amanda Barnhart, and they're gone. What do they do? That sucks when people for those other people left there. That's not good for them. Like there's people who worked there because those guys worked there. Do you know what I mean?
Well,
and now they got Lauren Khalil carrying the fucking whole boat.
Well,
she's like in the back kicking.
You have to think about what Morning Chalk Up was and how that when it actually exploded.
Yeah,
is when Greg pulled the plug on all the media stuff and was like, okay, let everybody else do it. So everyone was kind of shuffling around. I mean, that's when
they had a boon then. I didn't know that. They really did. Like they had some they had some growth there.
They had to, because where else was everybody looking? I mean, even when they still had the last skeletons of the media crew at HQ, there was information that was going on. I mean, that's when Greg was having interviews with Armin, and everyone's like, well, how the hell did Armin get the interview with Greg? And then how the hell the 2 girls, they had a podcast. I don't remember what it was called. It was
those fucking knuckleheads. I got a great story about those fucking dickheads.
And it's like all of a sudden all these other people are talking to Greg, and HQ isn't kicking out the information. It's everybody else. And so Morning Chalk Up was kind of right on there with that. And then they blew up. And then as you know, the people who were in the media department or being moved out or had to go out or pushed out, they were looking for other places. And that's where everyone was. I mean, it was really weird because it set everyone into a scramble. I don't know. I know what Greg was trying to do. I get what he was trying to do, but I think it's one of those things where like, okay, I don't like what this is happening. So instead of fixing what's broken, let's just throw a fucking grenade in it, blow everything up, and then just see what happens after that. It's like a complete reset. And so all those guys started scrambling. So you saw, Tommy was going to one place and another place and here and there. And, I mean, you're the one that brought Brian in. You're the one that brought Brian into the whole fold. And then he was one of those guys. I mean, the stats guys. It's really interesting. The stats guys blew up because everyone heard all the stats these guys were giving. And then instantly they became the voice for all of the different pockets of whatever we were doing in media. And, those guys were writing a ton. I mean, I always crack up. I love the information that Brian has, but sometimes I laugh about it. I'm like, all right, what's the percentages of CrossFitters that all like the color purple and were born on a Tuesday? And he gets that information. It's like, I mean, cool. If you're like a big mega fan, like that's awesome.
Yeah.
To me, like, I don't give a shit about that.
Or if your favorite color is purple.
I'm like, I don't fucking care. Who cares? Right. Who cares? Like in my world where I am, at least on the media side, like I'm live commentary. Why is this happening? It doesn't matter if he likes purple, if he was born
Why hasn't anyone used him for live commentary?
Because I think it's a different skill. Stats is not live. Stats and desk commentary are two totally different beasts.
Okay, but let me put it this way. You have someone like you,
yeah,
who can just go off and do the color.
Yeah.
And then he's like, he would, I mean, he would seem like a great, for you or Chase, it seems like he would be a great counter.
For what we do live, where he and like Chad Schroeder are, like those are the guys that feed the info to the live comment. Like live
right. I imagine
you
that.
You have a block of time that you got to work with. So like as they're transitioning from thrusters to burpees over the box, that's where I'm supposed to say, okay, well, why is that person doing that? All of the percentages and all of the stuff that like, well, if 96% of the time they work 100% of the time, and on every other fourth Thursday they do, all that stuff is great before they say go. But once you say go, all that shit goes out the window. And now as a coach, and as an athlete, I can see how they're moving. Why are they moving? What sort of things should they be doing to get from this point to that point faster? It doesn't matter all the historical stuff and all the data and whatever, because at that point, I mean, virtually anybody can get beat. Anybody can, like when you say go, and that's what I always loved about sports is you can have all of the stats, all the historical data, all of the stuff, and then when they say go, anyone can get beat on any day. And I mean, I've been an athlete forever and ever.
I don't know. It's kind of cool. It would be kind of cool if you're talking about the box jumps, and then Brian says, "Hey, there's been 742 CrossFit competitions in the last 6 years. Every single one of them has had a box jump in it."
See, to me, during the event, like
I like that
they all have the boxes. I think the death show stuff, that's where those guys can go off and have.
He should be doing something. He should be doing something.
100%. He
more than just feeding intel, I think.
No. What I'm saying is like think about the pregame.
I mean, I don't want him to. I like him just like I like him getting kicked out of the games and people shitting on him, because then he's available for me.
But now I think
it's a huge loss.
He got the bar band.
Barbell. So what happens to Morning Chalk Up? Lauren Khalil's over there. She's the only. I'm trying to think who Patrick Clark's over there, but
I just heard that she's now full-time YouTube. She's a full-time YouTuber now. That's what I heard Hiller say.
Yeah, I wanted her to come and do the CrossFit shit on my channel.
Yeah,
I saw how hard she was putting out a video every single day.
Oh, she crushes it.
And I was like, okay, I need someone putting out a video every single day on my thing. I went out, I found a sponsor for her, and then I said, hey, come over.
Yeah.
And she said, okay, let me think about it. And I told her, I said, hey, either way, it's a win for me. You stay over there and something good happens to you over there, it's a win for me, which is true. We should get into that, about how it's so important that the tide rises for everyone.
Yeah.
And then she stayed over there and she's just killing it. So they must have offered her, I'm guessing she got some good money, good enough. But she can't float the whole boat, can she?
Well, I think what it'll do is all of the underlings, whoever are the other riders that are there.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think that
they're going to step up.
Because now the door is finally open. Like, I don't think someone's going to be able to jump over Tommy Marquez unless they're just like, dude, I mean, Tommy does all of these things. Tommy's a good rider.
Dude, think of how much clout those two have. How is anyone else there going to get that clout? Now Brian and Tommy have been everywhere.
Now they get to. Now those other people get to. Okay. They didn't have the opportunity before. I mean, now they can. And it's like, all right, well, step up, guys. Or what it does, if they don't, then there are two open spots that if there's another Brian friend out there or someone that's been watching the sport and playing with the numbers and looking at all of the things and being like, you know what, fuck it, I don't like what he has to say, I'm going to say this. And they just start feeding a bunch of info. That's one of the things that Morning Chalk Up has been able to do is they kind of have an open door. If you want to write, if you want to be involved in this, then they're like, come on over, we'll see what you have and we'll put it out there. So I think it opens up the door for the other writers that they have. So it's like, okay, now you get to make a name for yourself. So go. It's like everything else. I mean, like when you have the big name, it's like, all right, the big shoes to fill, but I don't think it'll be, I don't think it's
I think they're in trouble.
Oh, they're gonna be scrambling. Everyone scrambles when you lose your big dogs, 100%.
Yeah, and I think that other people there, I mean, you know that there's people at the gym that you're excited to see, right? Like,
Yeah.
I love doing the podcast because this comes with me.
Yeah.
7 a.m. and I'm fucking got a huge cup of coffee. I mean, I'm
Amen.
serious. What a great
Brother.
motivation, right?
Amen, brother. I got
Yeah.
it.
There's people who work there because they wanted to rub shoulders with, I'm sure, Tommy and Brian. They were their friends. They're like the hot chick who sits in the front row of physics at 7 a.m. in college, you know?
I'm not going to disagree with that, but I won't say that that's the only reason. Like, they're not
Right.
there just because, like, sweet, I get to write next to Tommy. Well, they aren't sitting like desk to desk. Tommy's doing his thing and they all post it, but they're all kind of in the same, virtual stable. I think it's cool, but I don't think that is going to be. I don't think that that's why people went. People went there because they want to be part of it, and they see that people can be part of it. They have a bunch of. I mean, they have. You watch like when they do their posts when they do their Instagram thing. You see, I'm like, oh, here's this article that comes out, and you're like, oh, who the hell wrote that? Oh, I've never heard that name before. So they have a bunch of people, and now those people are going to get more opportunities. So it's kind of like, all right, who is going to step up? And so I think what they'll probably end up having is whatever that next tier, that JV team that was sitting behind those guys, they're going to be battling to see who's in that new spot now.
And there might be a superstar in the mix. Here, I'll jump on your side real quick.
Yeah.
What about Barbell Ben? What are they doing? I don't. Are they normally a CrossFit rag? Why are they getting in bed with Brian?
That's a good question. I don't really know. I mean, I think that I've seen.
Did they reach out to you? Did they ever reach out to you? No.
No. I mean, I've done.
Do you know if they reached out to anyone besides Brian?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I have no idea.
Again, I haven't heard anything either. I just think it's an interesting move.
As of late, and maybe they just decided that they want to add that to their, to their side. I know that I've done, like they've dabbled. I mean, because I've done some stuff for them.
Oh, they got CrossFit as one of their hashtags. Scroll down just a little bit more.
Yeah, so I wrote some stuff for like the open tips. So I did some stuff like that for them. But it wasn't like big, let's get heavy into CrossFit. It was like, hey, we know we have people that lift and that do this stuff. So we want to have that stuff in there. But their main thing is lifting. I think it's cool that they want to have that avenue because so many CrossFitters are into lifting. I mean, CrossFit is what brought lifting back to the forefront. I mean, really.
Yeah.
So it's a natural win. And he is a voice. I mean, like if you're talking about stats and you want to know about information, I mean, that guy can, information puke all over you. He can give you whatever number of data and percentages and everything. So
did you get a new Bronco?
No.
Oh, what was that picture of? There was a picture you were talking about what you did on some day, and there was a car.
Oh, it's my FJ Cruiser.
Oh, that's what that is?
Yeah. God, I love that thing.
Toyota makes that?
Yeah, it's so cool.
They don't make that anymore?
They stopped, and then I heard they were going to I think they stopped like in 2014, and then I heard they were going to bring it back out again. But yeah, this is my little ride. I love that thing.
How many are you tripping on how many people popped onto this? How long have you and Chase been doing the Get With the Programming?
We started right when the pandemic hit. Right when the pandemic hit, we started. I think it's like 2 years.
Really? Yeah. God, I feel like you guys have been doing it for a long time. You know those two girls that we talked about who got that interview with Greg? They went to his house. Are those girls still doing their show?
Dude, even I didn't know who the fuck they were when it all popped up. I mean, how did they get the interview with Greg? Like, where did they? I mean, other than the fact that maybe they were cute girls, I don't really know. But other than that, like, I don't know how that would have come about unless he just randomly picked, from out of a hat. I'll talk to these guys.
When you hang out with someone like Greg, there's two kinds of people and two kinds of camps. There's people who come over there and all they do is address Greg, and there's people who come over there and they address it. They treat everyone normal, right?
Yeah.
So if you walk in the house and you walk over and you say hi to me, hi to his sister, hi to the cleaning lady, hi to his wife, hi to his kids, and then there's people who like I don't know why they do this, but they only will talk to Greg.
Well, because he's the famous one. He's the popular one. He's the guy, Of course they're going to do that.
And it reminds me of those people who like you're out at a restaurant with them and they're treating you nice and they're treating the waiter like shit. And all I'm thinking the whole time is I'm fucking never going out with you again. I think you're a piece of shit. You know what I mean?
Right. No, I get that. I get that.
I know if you treat the waiter like that, you'll treat me like that someday. I'm fucking out of here.
Yeah.
And if you go out with Greg, he never does that. He'll stop and talk to a homeless guy.
Yeah. Yeah, he's always been that way.
Yeah, he treats everyone the same. And so those two girls, they were like that. They came over to his house and it was like just all about, it was crazy. It was crazy. And they were fucking horrible. They were ill prepared. They're fucking, everything about them was shitbirds. But I'll never forget that they posted a picture on their Instagram of their feet up on Greg, because Greg flew him in on his plane.
Yeah.
And they had their feet up on his leather chairs.
Yeah.
And fucking, we all just fucking right in front of Greg hammered them. Like those dipshit, you know what I mean? Like everyone, like you fucking morons. You posted a picture on your Instagram sitting in Greg's plane with your feet up on his leather chairs. You think he wants your feet?
Well,
yeah,
but that's what was weird is from the outside looking in, it was like, how, and Greg's cool with that. Like, all right, apparently he likes a different type of person, or he thinks that's going to be good.
He feels sorry for people. That's what Greg's thing is. Greg likes to help the little man. He likes to help the little man.
Okay, I didn't see them as the little man.
Yeah, well, they were fucking atrocious.
I mean, like that's not cool. I have seen that. I mean, when Greg had his
and they went woke as fuck.
Of course they did.
Yeah,
I don't doubt that.
I love all the people who got access to Greg and then turned on him. That's my favorite. Not in a healthy way. It's my favorite. Yeah, it's my favorite because it makes me look good. It's for really bad reasons.
Selfish, egotistical, self-centered reasons.
Yeah, like if you're not Greg's friend anymore, it's more Greg for me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, yeah. Good. I'm glad you fucked up.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying it's a healthy trait I have, but like,
man, I remember when all that stuff was going down. I remember being on like Zoom calls with other like affiliate owners, just nothing that was CrossFit driven, but just community, like affiliate owner driven. And there were so many that were like, I'm going to lose members if I don't take CrossFit off my name here. And I'm like, you guys, okay, whether you like or don't like what he did, like you're the owner here. Like, this is your business. If they don't want to come, you can't be a slave to them. Like, go get the people that want, like, this is our time to educate. This is our time to educate, however you want to go. Right. But man, that plucked a chord with people. And all of a sudden you have business owners that, I mean, for the most part, especially if they've been around a while, most of us didn't know shit about business when we started. I mean, I didn't know how to, I wasn't a businessman. I'm barely still a businessman now, trying to figure all this stuff out. But when all of a sudden you have what you know, and then you feel like the rug's pulled out from under you and you start scrambling, it was really weird. It was really weird. Such a weird, I mean, it was a weird time anyway, but
someone needed to draw a flow chart and explain that. I want to acknowledge that it must have been really hard on affiliates.
100%.
So you're barely making it, and 5% of your clients quit because of or use that as an excuse to quit.
Man, in right? LA, I was talking to people in LA. They're like, I'm gonna lose half of my people.
Yeah, well, yeah, because it's the high for wokeness.
Right.
So but the next step is if you grab your ankles for them, and that's the problem. Whenever I interview anyone from Canada, they think it's okay to grab your ankles a little bit. Like, and the second you grab your ankles a little bit, they're taking the whole thing. No one's just putting the tip in.
No,
as soon as you give a little bit, they're going to be you're going to be getting just hammered and railed. And they don't realize it. You actually have to stand your ground and hurt for a second.
The only bending over to grab anything would be to pick up your big boy pants.
Yes.
And be like, okay, fucking let's go. Like, all right.
Unless you disagreed with Greg said, then run that way as hard as you can. Kick out the people who.
Right.
Yeah.
There was, I mean, there was a handful that did. Man, it was
Hey, how did that turn out for them?
Weird.
How did that turn out for
Yeah,
them?
real good. Real good.
All those every time I look at one of those gyms, they're fucking closed.
Yeah. Well, okay, so
or they're hurting.
When Dave got back in and he started doing those affiliate owner little meetings that he was having. He had one here at my place, and he had all the local affiliates come in and the owners, and he's like, I'm just sitting back and listening. What do you guys want to know about? And I think it's because I've been around the longest. One of the things that I was saying was, what we want is, I want HQ to help differentiate the name CrossFit from everyone else out there. Because like the question that every owner asks themselves is, why should I even keep that name? Why do I keep, like, I'm paying this money? What do I get out of it? They don't give me anything out of this. And okay, cool that they do the playbook.
You still own CrossFit Inferno. You're at CrossFit Inferno.
Yeah. Okay. We're coming up on 15 years. And
okay.
Shit.
For those who don't know, I just wanted to get that in there. Okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to take you off track. So go back.
So it was the idea of, okay, I'm paying X amount of dollars. What do I get out of it? And I'm like, what do you mean? What do you get out of it? You get the recognition of automatically. I mean, when you have CrossFit on your name, it automatically splits you from everybody else. Otherwise, like, okay, so your strength and conditioning or your Inferno Fitness, all of a sudden you are in this gigantic melting pot of every other gym that's exactly the fucking same, that are all doing quote unquote CrossFit like stuff, but they're not doing, they're afraid to say what they are. And immediately when I say CrossFit Inferno, someone's like, oh, okay. Like it just jumps you out. So like I'm willing to pay whatever amount of money for that, because I want to be differentiated, and I will pay that amount of money to differentiate myself out of that. I get to run the CrossFit gym however I want. I mean, I know there are good CrossFit gyms and there are shitty CrossFit gyms. I get it. Just like there are good doctors and shitty doctors, but I automatically get that with that name. So that's why, I mean, I never considered dropping it. Never. Not even when I was like, what the fuck is happening with Greg saying these things and everyone's blowing up over here and whatever. And I mean, I had a couple conversations with members that are like, I'm not going to pay to him. I'm like, what are you talking about? This is our CrossFit. CrossFit Inferno is here. It's not anywhere else. And, in having to use my education to educate as a coach, as a leader of my group, as a someone that's trying to make their life better using whatever resources that I have, which is CrossFit methodologies and all the stuff that Greg talked about. Because I mean, shit, that's what's so great. Like me and Chase are doing all the Glassman Chipper stuff now, doing our book club thing. Every fucking thing that guy had.
Oh, those are awesome, by the way.
It's so good. Like I
mean, what you and Chase are doing is awesome.
Man, dude, it's so fun. Like, but I mean that's it. Those are the words, those are the mantras, those are the phrases and the quotes that drove us way back in the day to now. And we seem to have forgot a lot of those things because it's so easy to get just mixed up with I need to try this thing and we need to do, so-and-so training is doing this stuff, so we have to go that way, or whatever everyone's doing, and they forget the basic things. And what drew me to CrossFit in the beginning was that Greg so eloquently would put these complex ideas into the most simple setup. And I love that. I love listening to him talk. I could just sit there and listen to him talk all the time.
Everyone, the .com should publish the 5 buckets of death on the 1st of every month.
Yeah, they should.
Right.
I don't know why they aren't repurposing. I mean, yes, we would go through like every single one of those things. And we're not even remotely close. I think there's like 38 or 58 of the articles.
I listened to the What is Fitness last night.
Oh, dude, it's so good.
While I worked out, it was so good. It's so cool how you guys have highlighted it in different colors for like the relevancy. Hey, you know what else too? Right as I was watching that, I texted him last night and I said, "Hey, dude, I got to get you on video saying talking about your process and how you came up with world-class fitness in 100 words."
Yeah,
because you guys were speculating on that. I was like, "Oh shit, how come I've never asked him that?" What a great thing to talk about.
Yeah. I mean, I wonder if like he had to add or cut words out to make the 100. You know what I
all
mean?
that.
Like, it's like shit. It's like, all right, so I just got to 105 words. So
took too damn long to get this legend on. I agree.
Thanks,
Loving it
dude.
so far. By the way, Bill, do you ever run into Robbie at Headstrong?
Yeah, every once in a while. Robbie used to be a member of ours, man, a long time ago, and he eventually made his own gym here in San Luis as well. He's a powerlifting background guy. Good dude. Good dude.
Hey, the Colt hat. Is the Colt stuff and the OG stuff both you and Chase? That's from Get With the Programming.
Yeah.
Like if you make $12 on that, Chase gives you $6.
Well, I think after we give whatever we need to give to Ken for Stripperworks for putting it all together and doing his thing, yeah. But it's so weird. Like it's really cool that it's gone. The whole OG thing and the cult awesome stuff and all that. Yeah. It's really, really fun, and the intent of money never, like, that was never even like, hey, this could be another revenue stream. That was never the thing. It was always, I don't like what's fucking happening right now with CrossFit. I mean, and this is really what happened. Was like, I mean,
yeah, you're leaning the other way. Instead of being like, hey, let's dumb everything down and no one has to go squat below parallel. You're like, fuck you, we are a cult.
Yeah. Like, I mean, we hated when people would say that, and now it's like, fuck that. Okay, well, yeah, we are a cult. I want the cult back. Give me the cult back. Yes. I want it gritty. I want it dirty. I want it simple. I want the Apollo Creed, gym. Rocky's over here working out and like the flashy everything, and Apollo Creed's over here with just the down and dirty and, Mr. T. Like, just let's just fucking do work, man. Like, it doesn't need to be pretty. It doesn't need to be the nicest, pretty. Let's just fucking go to work. And I love it. It's just, that's where I exist. I think that's the history of me as an athlete and stuff like that. Like, I resonate to that. I like that. Let's just do it. Let's just go. Not like, let me go over here and shine this up really fast and make it all shiny and sparkly. And
I don't think inclusiveness should ever be the word that you use to try to make something better.
No.
Here's. So someone said I made a post. I said something on my podcast the other day where I was just like, hey, I was talking to women and I was over the top, of course. And I basically said, hey, if you don't have kids, you're missing out. And I was pretty extreme about it. And then it was posted on Instagram and someone wrote, hey, dude, you're a fucking idiot. Learn to read your audience. And it's like, holy shit. Like that's I'm never doing that. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm focused on trying to tell the truth and shed light on things and be funny. Those are the three things. If the audience doesn't come while I'm doing those three things, then I'm going to suck. I'm never going to have an audience. I'm never going to have an audience. But those are the truth, shed light on things and be funny. Read your audience. And so that's what I like about the cult thing and the OG thing. We're not trying to read the audience. We're actually trying to repel people away who are sensitive to these things and just bring in the people who like. It's like Greg said, we're never going to get everyone on the lifeboats, and that's not the goal.
No,
that's not the goal.
I think what makes
everyone's welcome, anyone's welcome, but the goal isn't to get everyone in.
People will follow a beacon, like they see it as a beacon. The beacon doesn't change to suit all the people, so that like, because then it's not a beacon anymore. It just becomes the mass of everyone else talking amongst themselves. Then I don't think that's right. And it's really funny with how everyone, even when there was with the big change with Rosa and all the things that were happening and the way that it felt like everyone was afraid to be confrontational, which, I mean, the world is like that anyway. You can't have a discussion with anyone and they flip out and whatever. But like, that was what CrossFit was. The old .com Every day they would have a workout, and on the rest day, whenever the rest day would pop up, there would be an article that was posted, and it was like, "What do you think about this?" And then people would like comment on that, what they thought. It would be political, it would be nutritional, it would be military, it would be and like whatever the scenario. But it was always like a drop a little nugget out there, and it's like, okay, talk about it. I mean, nothing ever came out of them. It wasn't like a, and this is what we've discovered through the comments that we've had. It was a, hey, look at this. And
climate change, the Patriot Act, anything. Yeah, anything. Nothing was off limits. Yeah, that was awesome.
And I think what is great about that is, and I mean, especially like with the stuff that kind of Greg is getting into now, it's really interesting when you can do it with yourself, kind of see where you are, where you started, and then where, how you got to wherever it is that you may be in that person's life. And it never really looks like it can look like you're bouncing back and forth until you turn around and look back and you see like there's a direct line between all the things that got connected. I do this with like my career and where I am and stuff like that now. And I feel like I'm all over the place, but when I look back, I'm like, there is a distinct line from where I am to where I started. And with Greg, he was doing that same thing way back then. So here he is looking at all of these things that are out there, and it's like, oh, let's discuss. Let's talk about this, that. Let's look at this side. Let's look at that side. He's pissing people off over here because he's doing these workouts, but yet it's working. He's pissing the people off in the gym because he's throwing the intensity on top of whatever and making people work hard when breathing hard and climbing up and down ropes and doing weird things with dumbbells. It's like, that's not a dumbbell curl. Why are you doing overhead weight or walks or, something, lunges, whatever? So
the kipping pull up.
Yeah, kipping. How dare you? I mean, and I was one of those guys. I mean,
right. Who wasn't?
I was at a party with Greg when I didn't even know who he was at the time, and everyone's drunk. And
was this in Santa Barbara or Slow or where was this?
This was in Santa Cruz. This was it.
Okay.
And this is the whole like the Nick Massman thing. This was up at Nick's house way back when. And so Nick up in Santa Cruz. I was friends with him at Cal Poly. His wife was my wife at the time. They were best friends. I played water polo at Cal Poly, and it was their baby shower for their oldest daughter. And we're all there. My daughter's like 6 months old. And Greg and a group came in. I don't remember if Nicole Carroll was there. I don't remember who all the characters were. I didn't really know because I didn't know who Greg was. And
what year was this?
Oh man, 2001, I guess.
2001. 2001, before the website was up.
Yeah. And so we're all out there. It's nighttime. Everyone's been, drinking and having a good time. It's not like people are wasted, but like everyone's talking, everyone's doing the thing. And out of the blue, Greg's like, let's do a pull-up contest. And I'm like, oh, you guys are fucked. I'm a wrestler, bro.
Yeah.
Like that's all I do is pull-ups. And Nick had a home gym. I mean, because that's like kind of when the home gym thing was kind of starting. So he had his little outside setup. And we started doing pull-ups. And I'm like, what are you doing? Bounce this other guy, whoever the guy was. I don't remember who he was. But his legs are kicking all over the place. And I'm like, what the hell kind of pull-ups are those? You look like a damn frog over there. What are you doing?
Hey, you think it was Amundsen?
No, I would have recognized him.
Okay. Brendan?
No, I just remember he was like an Asian dude, but I don't remember who he was. Like all those guys, I think I would have remembered those guys.
Right.
I think I would have remembered those guys. Especially like with Greg. Like Greg was one of the guys that I would follow in the comments, in the videos. I'm like, okay, who's this guy? All right, I got to beat this guy in every whatever the workout is. But that was, I mean,
what ended up happening? Who won the pull-up contest?
Honestly, I think it just kind of fizzled because I'm like, you're not doing right pull-ups. Like, those are wrong.
Right.
And I wasn't at that place where I can understand. I don't even think like Greg didn't go through and pull out a whiteboard and explain the
I would call bullshit if I saw kipping pull-ups too.
I told him, I'm like, what the hell are those, man?
Yeah.
But then here I am now, and I would get into the discussion. We have an ROTC kid here from Cal Poly who comes in, and he was a convert. One of our trainers. She was going to school at Cal Poly and brought him in and stuff. And that was the thing. It was, I'm never going to do those stupid pull-ups you guys do. I'm never going to do them. And it's like, okay, let's talk about the why. What's the reason for doing these pull-ups? And it's like, I get that your test you have to do strict, and that's what they're going to test you on. So you got to train that. Okay, cool.
Right.
But I don't give a shit about your test. I'm looking for work capacity.
Right.
How can I do more work faster? Because if I can do that, then I am doing better, period. And man, I have used that lingo, and that's what I'm talking about. Like all the stuff that Greg used to say. When you have those, man, those are like ultimate weapons. I have stopped engineers when I've done stuff like the fire department. They're like, yeah, but you're cheating because you have momentum. And I'm like, force or look at the equation of what we're trying to do of who can do more work here. Force times distance. I don't give a shit about like if it's circular or whatever. How many times is that body moving up and down? Yes, I know, but you're totally cheating because of that. I'm like, equation it, man. Like pull out your formulas. And they're like, and it would piss them off. And that's what Greg was so great about it. He made it simple. And so you then are, if you use those things, you are now armed with like the sharpest of tools, you know? And it's like, come at me. Every CrossFitter or CrossFit gym owner, even more affiliate owner, that doesn't like to get in that discussion, like you're missing it. You should be like the second you have that option, like Greg probably, if he wasn't, he was probably like, here's my chance, man. I'm going to school you on pull-ups and why. I wish you would have. I really, at the time, I wish you would have. Now, no, looking back, but man, that stuff is like, yeah. Oh, you're moving around. You're cheating because you're using your legs and you're using your.
Bill, what year did you become the captain of that house? Whatever you guys call that group.
I became a captain in 2000, I think.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
God, that's forever ago.
Yeah.
And were you always at that I visited that station a handful of times, and it was a house in a neighborhood that was converted into a fire station.
Yeah. So we had in Pismo Beach, small town. How
many people?
What is it? I want to say it's like 12,000, but it's like in the middle of like, here's this little town and then this little town, and they're all kind of shoved together. So if you look at the area, there's a lot of people, but like the town itself, the actual jurisdiction, is relatively a little beach town.
Bill is not, guys. Don't listen to him. There are not a lot of people there. Bill's still in a small town. When he says that the towns are smushed together, Pismo was the biggest town and it had 12,000 people. I mean, it's like.
It's small.
This town is stuck between the Pacific Ocean and a cliff, and I'm not even fucking joking.
But it's so great, man. We're like,
oh, it's so great.
We're
it's
like,
a fucking dream. I'm not hating. I ain't
hating. LA, like Southern California, 1974.
God, it's so fucking amazing. If you can make ends meet living down there.
Oh, that's the hard part. It's not cheap. It's not cheap at all. But
the house in the
house. So like most of the departments were volunteers. So they had a giant garage, and they would have their little offices where they would do their, weekly meetings or monthly meetings or whatever they would do. And then they had to come back, and as fire departments and cities and towns needed to have more of a full-time residency of their fire department, they started converting these houses. So the Pismo station, we lived in the garage when we started there, and then we rented the house across the street for a time, and then they brought in like a double wide that they put back in the back of this parking lot, and they always said they were going to build this big station, which they never did. The Shell Beach one that I remember you came to a couple times, that one they did a full renovation, turned it into an actual living quarter, so it wasn't like you're living back in the locker room kind of thing. They actually made
but it still looked like a house. Like when you drove by it,
yeah,
it looked like a house.
Yeah, and that was what they wanted to do, because it was in a residential area. They had the siding that looked the same, and they kind of colored it that looked the same, and yeah, it was fun though.
Is living next to a firehouse a good thing? Like if you're in a neighborhood, like is that where you want to live? Like the sirens go out. Like when you guys pulled out at 4 a.m, you didn't just fucking blare the sirens, right? Or you did?
No, we tried not to do that.
Yeah.
But we would usually have the lights on just out of habit.
Right.
And I'm sure that that's bright.
Goes into people's bedrooms and shit. And
yeah, my condo that I had when I was at the fire department, when I was in the fire department, was over by one of the ambulance stations, and they wouldn't throw the sirens on, but you'd see the lights, and it was like it would light up your room, red and white and flashing all over the place. So it's not that big of a deal, but like it's there, But if you need any help, you got help right there.
the dudes are there.
Yeah.
That fire station was when I say to you guys that this town is smashed between the ocean and a cliff, also smashed in there is this highway called the 101, and it's a major corridor and for all sorts of shit. It's where the ranch is on that corridor too, just up the road, 100 miles or whatever from Bill's place is Dave's ranch where the games are. And it's this really fucking narrow corridor that kind of runs along the ocean, just off the water a little bit. You must have seen some hellacious shit in terms of accidents on that, like life-changing shit working there, right?
No, being in a small town, you think that you would not see anything, but because we had the ocean right there, we have the Diablo power plant, we have the freeway that goes right through, we have train tracks that go right through, we have cliffs that we deal with. The amount of incidents, the different types of incidents that I've been involved in, that I've been around with, I've seen more things than big city fire department. Big city will get if you're in a certain jurisdiction, either you got your people or you got your high rise that you're dealing with on a regular basis, and that's all you do is that one thing. But man, I'm all over the place. Water rescues, cliff rescues, traffic accidents, big rigs turnover.
Was the freeway the worst? Was the freeway the worst? Like if you could get rid of one thing, would it have been that?
No, I mean, I think probably the worst stuff in most firefighters would say this is the medical aid stuff. I mean, you pick a lot of people up that fall down, and it's really, I mean, there could be some.
What do you mean? Like the stuff I always joke about on my show, like someone fell behind their toilet and they weigh 400 pounds.
Yeah. And they're naked and they they've been stuck there for a while and they gotta go to the bathroom and all of those, and that's what's, I mean, on one side, firefighters are, I think generally firefighters are pretty compassionate people. So it's like, I want to help you. So here's a person that is falling in the shower, falling on the toilet. I mean, they're in the most precarious, embarrassing moments that they could possibly be in. And they call us, or we get called on, and we got to go help them out. And the last thing you want to do is go in and be like, motherfucker, there's shit all over the place.
Hey, clean yourself up. We'll be back in an hour.
And I mean, and stuff smells, and it's like, but that's not what we're there for. We're there because that person doesn't want to be in that place anymore. And now, especially now, my mom is older, and I think if anything was to happen, when I would roll up, I'd be like, okay, if this was my parent, how would I want these guys to act? And that's what I always try. I try to do that because I think that's what I want, man.
Yes.
Because it is. They are. Yes. I mean, literally shitty situations. It smells bad. There's shit all over the place.
I want to try doing that every day.
What?
Find one situation every day where I say, where I'm not sure how I'm feeling like I'm losing my cool.
Yeah.
For even if in a good, be like, hey, I should behave like my mom's here. Like that's my mom.
It saved me in a lot of situations.
Yeah, it's great.
But with that, I mean, here we are talking about the shitty situation, but I've seen, some of the ugliest, gruesome, here it's a little small town. It would have had 8,000 people or whatever you had on that thing.
You ever show up somewhere and one of your friends is dead?
I know people that have died. Yeah.
And you show up to the incident and you're like, oh fuck, I saw that guy at the bar yesterday and here he is dead.
Yeah. Yeah. Or I'd be surfing with one guy. We'd roll up and I know it's that guy's house. And I'm like, oh shoot, I hope that so and so's okay. And it ends up being his kid that we have to do like CPR on or something like that. Yeah, it gets crazy.
There was this guy, a mutual friend of ours, who started his career as a firefighter at that house.
Yeah.
And he told me one time, and I could be screwing up the story. I think the spirit of the story is right. But basically, you guys rolled up on a highway accident, a car had driven off the road, and you show up there, and there's 3 like Japanese cats in there, like the mom, the dad, and like one of the kids, and they look perfectly healthy. Like nothing's wrong. They're just like with their eyes closed or whatever. But they're fucking dead because from the impact, their fucking organs got scrambled.
Yeah.
And they were there just visiting like their daughter at Cal Poly.
Yeah.
And I just remember that fucking him up. Like, hey, dude, they look perfect, dude. They were fucking dead. They just from the impact, their shit they just all fucking died instantly. I was like, fuck, I don't know how you're doing that job.
It is the people. I don't think that, and I say civilian meaning just people that aren't in that realm, whether it's like,
like people like,
you know,
me,
like military.
Hiller. Let's use Andrew Hiller.
Andrew Hiller, perfect. Yeah. He doesn't know anything. The things that you see in that job, it doesn't matter what you have done before or how you prepared yourself to see it. Like you see things that the regular person won't see. And if you do see it, a lot of times it's going to be like some of the gruesome stuff. Think of like the ugliest horror movie stuff you could possibly think of. And that's like, yeah, you will see that. Not, you might see that. You will see that. I mean, I've seen
like someone's body is intact, but their head is spun pointing the wrong way and they're laying in the street. I saw that one time when a car had hit 5 people.
I've seen a face
and that
off
fucked
of a
me
head.
up.
I've seen
You saw
face,
what?
The face next to the head.
Oh God. Oh God. Like it. Oh God. I feel you. I see it. Yeah.
I've seen and you know, not trying to like all glorify the gnarly stuff, but like one of the first.
Hey, how does your brain process that? Because when I saw the head spun around on people, my brain was like, I felt like I did acid. I was like, what the fuck am I looking at? I couldn't, not that I was later on, I was really tripping, but at the time I wasn't even grossed out. I was like, I couldn't process it. I'm like, this can't be.
And I think that is the safety mechanism. I think at the time, okay, you know when you have all your stuff on and you're rolling up on the engine, you're going to see something nasty. Like you're kind of almost ready for it. So there's an element of being prepared for it. And then whatever happens is happening. It's always that after fact. So when they talk PTSD on stuff, I mean, it's like, how do you try to put that together? And that's why firefighters, cops, military, like their humor is so skewed to the rest of the world because you laugh at the things that people are like, what the hell are you doing laughing at that? And it's like, you have to laugh at it. You have to somehow lighten it because that shit's fucking heavy. It's heavy. I have seen bodies that the first like big call that I was on that I'm like, oh dang, okay, I'm gonna see some weird shit. There was a lady.
What year are we talking now? This is 90s?
This was 97.
Okay.
97, I think. Yeah, 96, 97. I am a lifeguard and I'm starting in the fire service, and because the lifeguard department was running underneath the fire department.
Same place, Pismo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was a beach guard there for a handful of years before I got into the fire service, and that kind of like got me into it. I decided I was a high school teacher at the time, also, so I would lifeguard during the summer, but I was a high school teacher in Arizona, teaching science out there, so I'd kind of go back and forth. And I decided I didn't want to teach anymore. I'm just going to do the fire thing. So I'm jumping into the fire academy, and I'm like a reserve firefighter or a PCF firefighter, which is a paid call firefighter. So you have your little pager at your house and something goes off, tones go off, and you run down to the fire station and you join. Dang, that's an old picture right there. Wow.
Which one are you?
I got the hat right in the middle.
Damn, look at you.
Look at that bronze goddess.
Yeah. God, not goddess. That's me on the right over there with the big old titties and the hat on.
Oh man. But anyway, so the tones go off and it says body recovery down at the Cliffs Hotel. And it was down at the Cliffs, down by the water. And I'm like, all right. So we roll up and we're like, okay, cool. And so me and a handful of other guys that were new, we all get up there. We roll up to the scene. The captain comes up and he's like, "Hey, okay, our job is we're going to go down to body recovery." So the person's already dead. I'm like, "Okay." And the captain was like, "Hey, this is a very ugly call. So if you're not ready for this, you don't have to go down." And me and a couple of guys are like, "Well, shit, if we're going to do this stuff, we should probably go and check it out." Anyway, we go down there, and the story was this mom, it was like in February, her kids, it was one of the warm days that we get in February sometimes. The kids are out in the water. They can't get back in with the waves or whatever. She runs out into the water to go get them, pushes them in on a wave. The kids make it in. The lady doesn't make it back in.
Oh, fuck. I hate these stories. Why are there so many like this?
I don't know, man.
It's always someone's uncle gets fucked up.
I know. So, we spend the day trying to do, body searches and everything in the water. We're paddling in the water. We're doing body searches. Don't see anyone. Can't find her. They cancel the call. It's at nighttime, whatever. Then the next day we're out on boats looking around, don't find anything. The next day the tones go off for body recovery. So we go down there. That's where this lady is. So this is the lady that we're looking for. We go down there, and I'm looking at the lady when we get down to the water, and we're supposed to help the coroner get the body and put her in the stretcher in the body bag and stuff. And I'm looking at the lady, and her face is completely perfect. She has a little scratch on her head. Her face is completely perfect. Her hands are completely perfect. She still has her watch on her wrist. Her feet look perfect. But everything between the middle of her forearm, her neck, and her ankles is a complete skeleton. Like no organs, no skin, no tissue, nothing. It was like, it looked like a wax figure that you would see in a haunted house.
Wow.
It was the weirdest thing I had ever seen. And I'm looking at her and I'm like, you don't know even how to, I've never seen that before. So I'm like,
Right.
I don't even know how to process. I have no idea what the heck I'm looking at. And we're supposed to pull the body out and put her in the bag. And then we carry her up.
Yeah.
No idea how that would ever happen. I mean, of course, me and the guys were trying to figure out what it was. She was this is what we figured out. She was in a sundress when she was at the beach. She had sunscreen on her face. She had it on her wrists and on her arms, and had it on her feet because she was sitting in the sun. Everything else was covered. So whatever the sea creatures were that were.
Oh shit.
So yeah, if you don't want your body to get all eaten up, I guess you got to put sunscreen on. But those are the things that we start laughing. It's like, oh, I guess, all right. So if you want your body, you got to put sunscreen on so things don't eat you. It's like that's where you start going with just your head. You're trying to put it into perspective. Like, okay, obviously there's nothing you can do. Yes, it's totally sad. These kids, now they don't have their mom anymore. This lady tried to go in and save her kid. All of these things, which are extremely sad, extremely hardcore. And then here we are, we're like, well, shit, I guess next time you go to the beach, you better put sunscreen on. Otherwise you're going to lose your skin. Ha ha ha. It's a trip, man. It's a trip. And I was like, okay, this shit's real. Like you're going to
miss it.
I miss the calls, and I miss my crew. I don't miss the politics of it. Like I like being out. But it was really fun.
Especially as the captain, the politics are fucked, huh?
Yeah, because you stand right in the middle. You stand right in the middle of
the overlords and the common man.
Yeah,
and you're trying to make the common man happy, but you got the overlords.
Yeah, I didn't like that, but I would get into where I would get into a lot of arguments with my chiefs and stuff based on physical fitness stuff. I do that all the time.
Did you ever I remember when our mutual friend went and first started working up there and he started training with you, he would tell me the shit he would do, and I couldn't even fucking believe it. I thought he was lying. And it was shit like running fucking cliff stairs with all the fucking gear on and pulling hoses up the stairs.
Yeah.
Just madness shit. Did you ever think you were gonna break someone? My friend was addicted to it though. Like he wanted to go, he wanted to get crushed.
Yeah. I didn't do it to break anyone. My whole mentality.
No, he said you did all the shit too, and you would set all the 100%. Fucking records, and no one could fucking beat you.
My mentality was.
And he wanted to beat you. My friend wanted to beat you bad.
Oh, I know he did. The only time he would is if there was a swim event, like, cause he was such a damn good swimmer. And it's like, all right, you got me on that one, dude. You got me. The mentality that I always had was, it was an athletic mentality, but it was also a small town mentality, wanting to be, like, I want to be whenever I compete with whatever, I want to go shoulder to shoulder with whoever is the best, and then get after it. That's, as an athlete, that's what you do. And so when I was training, like the firefighters, it was, if you are not training for the absolute gnarliest day you can think of, then you are wasting your time out here. Like, there's a lot of firefighters that they're like, oh, I need a recumbent bike because it's low impact, and I need to make sure that, I can watch the football game while I'm doing. It's like, shut the fuck up. When did firefighting become a low impact of sport?
Right.
It doesn't. So you need to be able to be ready 100% of the time to, like, the world's crumbling, and I am relying on you. Your family is relying on you, and you need to be ready to go. If you aren't preparing for that, then you're wasting everyone's time. And so we would do, like, our trainings would be with that sort of mentality. And the stair thing was, one, it's so damn pretty where we would do it. It's this beautiful cliff. You got the ocean right there, and these rocks and the waves and the sun. And I'm like, all right, guys, put all of our stuff on. We're carrying hose on our shoulder, and they're on. I have them wearing their mask. And so we're up and down, up and down, up and down. And I would stop them up at the top, and I would make them do multiplication tables. And I'd like, tell me how to put together a 3-to-1 mechanical advantage rope, and, rope system. And, the eyes are all spinning around as they're trying to, like, put this stuff together. But that's what I need you to do. I need you to be super tired and have all your mental faculties there so that we can be safe and kick ass on whatever it is that we're trying to do. And so those are the kind of things that we would do all the time. I had so much fun trying to put together whatever drills I could do. I mean, we would do these.
Were you ever reported? Did anyone ever tell on you? Captain Bill is pushing us too hard.
No, I always had. No, I was lucky enough to, when I was younger, I had other captains that kind of agreed with that idea of, like, let's get after it. And then as I got older, my partner captain at the Shell Beach station, he was honestly, I was great at operations, and I was great at training, and I was great at, like, getting shit done, but I was not great when it came to, like, paperwork and all the admin stuff. And so he was really good at that. So he did that. The guys, the firefighters that we had, they would rotate in based on where we were. So if the firefighters that were on my shift, they knew they were going to have a blast. We were going to drink coffee, work out, and train all fucking day long. If they were on the other guy's shift, they would be going shopping, scrubbing the grout on the tile. They'd be making sure that everything was organized and it has the proper labels on the boxes of whatever. They'd be doing all that shit. And then the ones in the middle would be like, I have one shitty day, and then I have 2 really fun days, or I have 2 shitty days and 1 really fun day. So we kind of go back and forth. So no one reported me, but they thought I was crazy. What's that?
What if you get a call and you're doing that shit?
It happened, and I didn't care.
Yeah,
I didn't care. And that was I would get into that discussion, and this is all of this stuff led to what I do now. Yeah, but what if this happens? And it's like, okay, what if? Does that mean that we do nothing because something might happen? Well, shit. I mean, you might get hurt when you're training, you might get hurt, whatever. So while you come here to work, just wrap yourself up in bubble wrap, sit on your lazy boy, and don't do anything, because you might trip. You might get a call. You might have, like, who gives a shit? There were times that we would get calls. We did this one. So nobody likes Fran. Everybody knows what Fran is. We would do Fran with our turnouts on. We have done triple Fran, where you do Fran, you rest for 5 minutes, you do Fran again, you rest 5 minutes, you do Fran again. You're trying to, and the thing was, how long can you make your air bottle last? So we'd have a 30-minute bottle, and it's like, can you do 3 Frans on that 30-minute air bottle?
Wow.
So you're doing it the whole time. And there would be times when we would get calls, and it would be tough. But if you
like, you're in between Fran number 2 and 3.
Yeah, and you're like, motherfucker, here we go. And it was, and not to say that it wasn't hard. And yeah, okay, maybe if you needed to have the biggest day of your life that day, then that's not the greatest way to go into it. But the chances of that are low, one. And if we did get a call, we would do this on a regular basis. So our recovery would be really fast.
Would you put your guys up against any other firehouse in the country?
Yes. Hell yes. Without a doubt. And I'm even the guys that I had that weren't like necessarily super athletic.
Yeah.
But the thing was, we'd get after it, man. And they may lift weights funny or whatever, but you get them on a call. If there's a hill, they're gonna mash that hill. If we have a big 400-pound person that we need to like get up and down stairs, no big deal. If I go down and because of something happens to me, I know that they're gonna be able to pick me up with all my stuff on and get me back out of the building or whatever. We would do that stuff.
I like that. Being an affiliate owner is the same thing as being a firefighter in terms of like you just swam upstream, right? I mean, you're basically doing the same thing now. You're saving people's lives, but you're not waiting till like they get into a car accident or they fall behind their toilet. You're just in a different place in the
I have a
linear progression of how things could get better or worse.
I have a buddy that I hired at Pismo. He now is a captain up at Sacramento, Oakland, Sacramento, I think.
And our other mutual friend's a captain too. You made a lot of captains. Wow, crazy.
Yeah. I don't really think about the age thing, but then when I look back and I see all these people that are like captains and chiefs and everything that I hired, I'm like, God dang.
Yeah,
I really am old.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. But he's getting ready. He loved the job. But he's like, I'm ready to get the fuck out of here. He's like, I wish I could retire like you did and just be out, because he's like, I pick people up. You stop people from needing to get picked up.
Yeah.
And he's totally right. And that was the stuff that Greg talked about before. He's like, you have the lifeguard that stops people before they get in the water when they don't know how to do it, or you have the swim instructor who teaches them so you don't need the lifeguard.
Right.
And we are the swim instructor. Right. And I really like that. And it's the same thing. Like I would watch my firefighters realize as I crush them on these workouts, and then we get to a call, we have to pick someone up, and they're like, dang, we lifted that person up so easy. I'm like, yeah. Or wow, we were packed up and we hiked those hills and we smashed every other crew that was out there. That was awesome. I'm like, yeah. And it's the same thing here in the gym where you watch people that have, and this is not trying to be stereotypic, but when you have like housewives that were not athletic girls when they were younger.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden it's like, no, I don't need the little tiny pink 1-pound kettlebell. It's like I'm deadlifting 180 pounds. Like you just picked up your kid. You picked up your husband. You did something that like most people wouldn't be able to do. And that to me is just as cool. It's like, that's the same feeling. I love watching people do that. It's awesome.
It's funny. You probably see this in your gym all the time, but people who like even callers.
Yeah.
The first month, like they treat them like and then next thing you know, they've been there a year and they're just like,
you slap those suckers on.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Like, oh, you're comfortable with collars now. You've come a long way.
Or you get that, the really nice, the super sweet, older, the mom, wife, the kids are out of the house because they're too old. But, it's like the kind of like the den mom. And all of a sudden they grab the bar and you hear them over there and like, ah! They grunt or they yell or something like that. You're like, fuck yeah, that was cool.
What's funny is when I hear my son play tennis, I hear him make sounds that I don't hear him play. I can't even believe that it's coming from him.
Really?
Yeah. It's like watching a professional, like he grunts and like.
Do you think he does that because he watches it and he hears?
No, it's natural. It just,
really?
Yeah. It's crazy. It's like those sounds that and it's funny you say it because that's exactly what I thought. I go, oh shit. That's just the byproduct of working this hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
the first 30 minutes you're playing, you don't make those sounds, and then at least for him, and then, 2.5 hours in and every serve he's grunting.
Dude, I'm a noisy worker out person.
Yeah.
And that's
I like noise. I like the noise.
and that's not because I'm an old. That's not. I mean, a lot of people are like I'm old, but that's why I'm like grunt and groan when I'm knees are creaking or whatever. That's just what I do. I have to poop, ha, hit,
yes,
yeah, boom, it's down. And that was 1 rep. Okay, cool.
When I play tennis with him, I talk shit, like crazy shit. And one time and I remember the first time his tennis instructor came over and he's like, "Hey dude, he's 6. Does that make you feel better?" And I couldn't tell if he was joking or not. And I just looked at him and said, "Yeah, it totally does." And my wife's like, "Hey, you can't do that in like real tennis. You're not allowed to talk to the opponent." I'm like, "Well, if this is real tennis and I talk to him the whole time." Or like I point that way and then hit it that way. You know what I mean? Like when he hits it to me, I'll be like,
yeah,
and then hit it the other way.
I think there's nothing wrong with that one.
No, that shit's all great.
I mean, I don't know about the talking shit part, but it's like,
you got to talk shit too.
Oh man,
I want to read this to you and then ask you what makes your day in specifically in regards to doing your podcast, Get With the Programming.
Okay.
I got this. I woke up this morning and I got this, and like, I can't tell you, like, this makes me so fucking happy. I listen to your podcast every day during my workouts. I've been homeschooling for 16 years. I have a farm, regenerative practices that include 500 fruit trees. I used to be a liberal before COVID. I love your sense of humor. It was my 18-year-old who got me to listen to you and Matt and Josh. She said, "Mom, this guy is on the same page as you. I'm thankful. I just wanted to tell you." I said, "Wow." I said, "Can I read this on the podcast?" And she said, "Of course. It's people like you that kept me sane these last couple of years."
Yeah.
And I read that and like I'm gonna just like.
Did you get all warm inside?
Oh, dude. Like I want to go visit that person. You know what I mean? Like it's like that wasn't my intention, but like now that's like she just wrote now that's my intention. That's my goal, to get one of those every fucking day, and I'm fucking good.
My dad was a great coach. He cared about his wrestlers. He was a wrestling coach and for years and years and years. And he was one of those guys that just worked. He worked for his athletes, wanted to make them the best, did everything. I mean, he put it all out there for those guys. There was, my mom and dad, there were 3 brothers, and then we had basically all of these almost adopted other guys, because my dad just cared about all those wrestlers forever and ever.
Which brother were you?
I was the oldest.
Okay. Oh, so that's like obvious. That's interesting. Okay.
Yeah. He never did it. He never did anything he didn't do it for any sort of self-gratification. Yes, he always wanted to win. He was very competitive, and he saw his teams as like the mechanism to win, but it was always what he could do for his teams and how to work them and how to make them better and all that kind of stuff. He never thought about it until he retired, and then everybody came back, and there are guys that are 20 years past when they were being coached by my dad, where they would still say, "I still hear your voices in the things that the way you would push me is how I push my kids." And the things that would keep driving me when I was in high school, I still hear it to these days. I think the people that element that he had, that characteristic that my dad had, that to me is what makes a good coach. You are not a good coach or a good leader or a good podcaster or a good presenter or a good teacher to be like, "Yeah, that's right. Look how cool I am. All these people are following me. Look at me." Like
there are people like that. There are people.
Yes, there
dude,
are.
I see people put on 4,000 Instagram followers and they turn into that.
Yeah. It's like the second it's about you, then you remove yourself. You now come off of the platform of I'm a leader, I'm a coach, I'm a teacher, I'm a whatever. And
you're not having fun anymore. God, that's the worst place to be.
Well, they think they are because they're looking at stats. But the second you start looking at stats, you're not doing your job anymore. Like the job is do what is the best for the people. Like that's the whole thing about like playing to your audience. No, fuck that.
Yeah.
The audience is not there for you to play to them. The audience is, okay, what does this guy have to say? Wow, that really resonates with me. That helps me to move further. That makes me better. I'm going to follow that guy. Not because you dumbed it down, you watered it down, you tried to do whatever here. It is because I see that as a light. I see that as information or something that's going to make me be better, do better, whatever. And what I like about that stuff, I mean, that's something that I think I carry from my dad, is the same thing. I don't think about a lot of that stuff. So even when we're doing the podcast, it isn't like, what would make us really cool is if we put Cult on here and put Pukey back on there and say, I'm an OG. You want to be an OG like me? That it was nothing. It was none of that. It was, this just feels good. Let's just go.
Yeah.
And it's fun. It's fun.
Not that I also want to say, not that I'm not open to feedback, by the way. So I don't know what this post says, but this guy right here, Jeffrey Birchfield, I DM with him a lot. Okay. And sometimes he will give me feedback in my DMs, like, hey dude, that was a little harsh what you said about that person, or hey dude, do you really think that's true about police officers? Yeah. And I appreciate that. And I think he's unfucked me a handful of times. It's not that I'm not open to what the audience has to say. I'm totally open to it, but I'm not going to.
No, here's what
if they don't like me. I don't have the energy to try to bend and make them like me. I have to just. I'm really hoping you guys like me and I get fucking rich and get 1 billion followers. But if I don't, I can't bend to do that. I can't.
Yeah, well, you can't. It can't be about, if you chase money, then you're going to be chasing the wrong things. I mean, I think even Greg used to talk about that. Like old CrossFit, it was like that. It's not about the money. The money will happen. If you're doing the right things, it will happen. I mean,
like
yes,
you and Chase say, the
money.
Fitness will happen. The body will come if you do the right things.
Totally. One of the things I think that you have that works well for you, and it's not that we're trying to like the pump up Sevan podcast, is the fact that, you can be harsh at times. And you will be, I think,
absolutist, as the great Pat Vellner said. He's an absolutist.
With your, I'll say you're very committed about the comments that you'll say, but the one thing that you do all the time is if you aren't like, I'm only on this side of the line and that's it. Like if you are going to talk shit about something or someone, if that something or someone does something that is right, you are always like, but I love when they do that. Like this right here, dude nails it. He's so good at da 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 da. But I just think that he's blah. So whatever. But you always give the good and the bad. So like I don't, when people get like when their feathers get so ruffled by what you say, and you've always had this. You've always, even back in the day when you were doing the podcast or the video stuff for CrossFit, you would come around and people would I'd watch them. They would mentally prep themselves for, oh shit, what am I getting myself into? Instead of like, I always thought it was
so crazy. I
always thought it was funny.
You were great.
I thought it was like, it's like, oh man, like in Chase would be like this. You would come around if we were doing commentary. He would come around. You'd come around, and he'd be like, "Fuck, I'm out." Like, I don't want to talk to him. I'll talk to him. Like, because you always ask the question that would push people's buttons, and your whole thing, what you would get by pushing buttons, you would get a reaction or a response or something in a way to kind of move the conversation this way or that way, and it made people nervous, and I thought that was cool. And it's like, well, I don't know what these people have to be nervous about, but like you would give them props if props were there. But if something, I mean, you would do it to me. So here I am, I'm the old guy competing. You'd be like, Bill, so are you too old to really do this? Like you can't do this. You're too old.
Oh yeah, just right there on the field.
Yeah, it's like,
you just want to work out and I'm coming up to you instead of being like, congratulations.
Yeah. Are you going to be able to do this? Because you're fucking old. Are you going to be able to do this? And
the next workout's in 30 minutes, right?
And I thought I just saw it as like fun banter, I guess. Like I don't know if it's tougher skin or whatever. I never was like, you fuck that guy.
I wonder if it's your wrestling background. I think
some wrestling. I think being in the service, like you kind of get used to, you kind of, you're constantly, rubbing and jabbing at people and brothers too. I mean, you have to get some tough skin at some point. I think that we're in the world now where like no one has tough skin. Everyone's walking around with like a damn cellophane bag around them.
You will never make a great catch without a bad throw. Never, ever, ever. And that's kind of how I feel about my podcasting or interviewing. I'll play the heel and I will throw you an alley-oop.
Yeah.
And you might fuck it up, but I think the vast majority of people on this podcast leave here looking better than when they came on. I think the world, because I throw up these alley-oops and most people figure it out and they fucking smash them.
If someone can get off their high horse on whatever it is, and this is on any, on anything, like we're at a place now where we do not know how to communicate. We do not no, I take it back. We don't know how to have a discussion, which is, let me hear what you're saying. Don't just tell me that I'm a hunk of shit.
Right.
Just tell me why you feel this way. I'll tell you why I feel that way. And then it allows an opportunity for me to be like, well, let me think about that for a little bit. Without the defenses going up of, no, fuck you, you're an ass. No, fuck you, you're an ass. And it's like, that's the discussion. No, that's not the discussion. Let's get back to the points of whether we're talking science.
Don't ever bring me into the conversation. Let's just talk about this out here. The second you say, Bill, you're blind, you can't see, that means I've lost the conversation.
Yeah, we're not talking about that anymore.
Yeah.
And
is it an orange or is it an apple? Well, you're a fucking idiot. Well, now we're not talking about that anymore.
Right. Oh man, we're in such a weird time, man. And I think that's where going back to the OG stuff, whether it was CrossFit, whether it was whatever, like I just was so tired of all of the crap. And here I am repping CrossFit, and it's now a watered down whatever. And I'm like, and me and Chase would talk back and forth off air. We'd do our thing, we'd come off air, and I'd vent about whatever, or he would vent about whatever. And I'm like, dude, I just wish it was the old way, where no one cared. You could talk about whatever you want to talk about. And then it was like, okay, cool. That's awesome. You feel that way. You feel that way. Okay, start the clock. We're going to do 21:59 or whatever. And then we'll high five afterwards. And you can think that the moon's made out of cheese. And I'll think that we live on a flat earth, or you can think that, we're going to the moon tomorrow. Whatever. I don't fucking care. We're going to put some weight on and that's it.
Yeah.
And then that's cool. Yeah. And that's where it started. And I was getting, I was pissed off at some stuff that was going on at HQ and like the changes in the feel. And it's like, you start feeling like you're on an island, or that's what I was feeling like in the CrossFit world. And
it was getting weird over there for a minute.
Oh, so bad.
It was getting weird over there for a minute.
But like, that's what the OG was. He's like, I'm going to make you a shirt just to make you feel better. And we were just kind of started playing with it. And that's where it started. And it was like, wow, you know what? We as a community of people that do this stuff, we need this. Let's get back to what's important, like the grassroots stuff. Not we're leaving money on the table and we need to be inclusive of everybody, because it was always inclusive. I was so pissed when people were saying that it wasn't inclusive. I'm like, to who? Well, because it was too expensive. Well, so what? I want to own a Lamborghini, but
or how about this?
Exclusive because I don't have the money. I don't have the money. Like,
how about this? You walk into a gym. You walk into a gym and there's 6 military flags, and they're saying that's not inclusive. Hey, I went through that. Through that. Yeah, when I first showed up to CrossFit, I didn't fucking I didn't know any cops or military people. When I showed up on the scene, I hated fucking cops in the military. It's not their problem. It was my problem.
Yeah.
It was my fucking problem.
Yeah.
You don't. Yeah. It doesn't mean that it doesn't mean it's exclusive. If I'm offended by that, it doesn't mean that it's exclusive. I never went to a gym where I didn't feel 100% welcome.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Hey, we're on this text thread, me, you, a couple other people. It's pretty free. It's one of the freer text threads that I'm on, where people say what they mean and say. And you sent me a text a couple months ago on that thread, and you said, "Hey, are you going to accept Dawn?" Was it
I did.
you who sent that? Yeah.
Yeah.
And I thought that hit me kind of hard, because then I thought, oh, fuck, I hope Bill just thinks that, like, I hope Bill doesn't think like I'm just a hater. I mean, it was a good question. I was glad you asked me that.
No, I
needed to be.
don't. I know that sometimes you can you'll have a particular opinion, and then it's like the opinion hops on the train and it just goes and goes and goes and
Right.
goes and goes and
Fair.
goes and goes. And I was like, okay, so here's this guy that comes in. I mean, he's got a much better resume than Eric did, as far as like military and, you know, same kind of personality. And okay, I see the grittiness. Is he Greg? Of course not. I mean, nobody's Greg. But is he gonna be able to work? And
you said that to me too. You got pretty poignant there too. You said, you not only did you say, are you going to accept him? You say, hey, are you ever going to accept anyone besides Greg? Like, you were really like sticking it in my ear and twisting it around. Like, oh, here we go, Billy. Here we go. This is a great thread, by the way. I'm lucky to have friends. I don't want to say who else is on the thread, just in case they don't. But I'm lucky to have friends in a safe place like that to like shoot the shit with people.
I mean, to be fully honest, like I don't know much about Don at all. I don't. I mean, honestly,
I wanted to hate him or distrust him. None.
No, it's like, okay, I will give you the I mean, you're stepping up. Cool. I like some of the things I hear, you know, but it's like, I'll give it, like, here we go. I'll let you get your shot, like everybody. But and if he doesn't, if I don't like what he does, then I still have CrossFit Inferno. Right. And I will run CrossFit Inferno the way I think that it should be run, because it's my little gig. And that piece is what I think is one of the greatest gifts when Glassman set up the affiliate program, which wasn't like some, I mean, reality, it wasn't some well thought out plan of what we were doing. We licensed the name. But the thing is, it was not what is HQ going to do for all of us. It's a, hey, you get to use the name and you get to do whatever the hell you want. You get to do it. You design it how you want it to be. You make it as awesome or as lame as you want. You can make it as flashy or as gritty as you want. You can make it as big and commercial, or you can make it as homegrown or whatever as you want. And that's when through Greg, through Eric, now through Dawn, through a pandemic, through whatever, like CrossFit Inferno has been here because I believe in what the methodology is, and I believe in what we've made, and I like it. And like I mean, I retired early out of fire for the gym. It got to the point where like I was busy so much on both of them that something had to give. Otherwise, they were both going to be, I respected the job as a captain in fire too much to be just a shitty right side sit on the seat and whatever kind of guy, which there are plenty, and I don't like that guy. Or I let other people in other gyms come up and pass me by, and I didn't want that either. So it was
there are people doing that. I guess that makes sense. Just coasting at the top. They get to a certain level and coast.
There are people that coast in general. I mean, like CrossFit Inferno started as a fitness program for firefighters. That's how it started. It was online, and it was just for that. Like, because I was so sick of seeing firefighters that thought that because they had a badge on their chest, that now they would be able to be the Superman, to be able to do whatever. Superman, Superwoman, whatever, Wonder Woman, whatever. And the fact of the matter is that they couldn't. I would see these hunks of shit physically not able to do their job, but because they had been there for 10 years, 12 years, they figured they have done it all, seen it all, that they're going to be able to be just fine. And I'm
going to say something pretty crazy here, but I think it's kind of true. If you're a police officer or a firefighter and you're not doing CrossFit, you're probably not doing your job.
Nope.
But Sevan, I go to the gym. Okay, I'll give you. I do back buys and I do bodybuilding. Okay, fine. But probably, if you're a firefighter or a cop and you're not doing CrossFit, you're probably not doing your job. which is kind of it's kind of an asshole bold thing to say, but
no,
it would take a lot to fucking unfuck me out of that. I'm pretty certain it's true.
No, it wouldn't take a whole lot of anything. There's a lot of people. When people,
what can affiliates do to get them in there? Why don't affiliates just make? What could you do this? Is this just crazy? What if you did for every cop? What if you had, let's say you charge your affiliates $200. Let's say you charge your members $200 a month, right? And you tell but for cops, it's a rolling fee depending on how many cops are in there. There's 2 cops are in there, your shit goes down to $199 a month. There's 3 cops in there, everyone's goes down to $198 a month. So it's a win-win for the cops and the affiliates. They don't have to give anything away free. Everyone should have to pay. Fuck that, you know? There's got to be some way to make it that these fuckers all come in there. There's got to be.
Yeah, what I don't. So we do a percentage discount for active duty, cops, fire, that kind of thing. Mostly, I mean, reality, it's mostly a thank you for your service. And since I come from that as well, it's like, yeah, thank you for your service. But I don't want to, like, personally, if you are a firefighter, a cop, a military person, and you need a discount to come in to be a better cop, firefighter, whatever, it's like, fuck you. No, no.
I hear
you. I don't want to incentivize with a discount someone to come in and to be better. It's like you should be.
I hear you.
I mean, in cops, like, they get paid well. Like, they get paid really well. So you can handle that amount of money to come in and do whatever. And if it's a money thing, whatever. But you think about it, it should be you are a paid athlete. That's what you are. You're a paid athlete.
I'd rather get rid of the transvestite reading hour at the public library and give that money to cops to subsidize their CrossFit fees. Just me personally.
Sure.
You okay with that?
I mean, yeah, totally. Hold on. Who's this Hugh? Far from true. What's far from true? The fact that cops and fire don't get paid well?
No, yeah. I knew that one.
Okay.
I knew that one was going to set someone off.
Well, I come from, both my parents were teachers. And so I come from the fire service. I'm not saying that everyone is a millionaire or anything like that, but they what firefighter makes $28,000 a year?
Angelo in Cookville.
There is, yeah, but you can buy a house out there, buy a 4-bedroom house for like $150,000. Okay, firefighter 2. So you're looking at full-time firefighters and that sort of thing. There are, the volunteer firefighters, the paid call firefighters, the seasonal firefighters. Yeah, they don't make a whole lot of money. I'm not saying that they make a ton, but what I am saying is this, is if you think that you are in one of those services and you need a discount to be a very strong, very powerful, very well endurance, well in shape athlete that can do anything. Yeah, I know the Grundler. I know. That can do anything on the job when the tones go off, when the community picks up the phone and they call 911 and they're like, I need help. They're not calling for someone that sits on a recumbent bike and watches the football game or someone that can lift weight one time. They're calling for Superman and motherfucking Wonder Woman.
Yes.
And if you aren't that, and if you aren't training to be that, then you're in the wrong job. Yes. And I'm sorry, but not everyone deserves to be or should be a firefighter or a cop or in the military. We've lowered standards to let everybody in because we don't want to hurt anyone's feelings or because we don't have enough people to get in there that can do these things. Or we make standards for you to get in. And then once you're in, we don't have any standards anymore, which doesn't make anything. If those people are still getting called 18 years later, but they physically can't do the job anymore. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I don't buy it. And this is the nice thing for me now is when I was in the service, I had to be very careful about what I would say because of, my chiefs and the unions and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Now that I'm out, fuck it. Like, they're calling for help. They want someone. They're calling for a superhero. They're not calling for someone that can't bend over and touch their toes because their stomach's too big or their knees are bad or whatever. Like, we have a great fire engine that can do all the stuff it can do. And if one little extra safety measure, there's a thing called a retarder on the on the pump. If the water doesn't have like an emergency overflow in case there's like a pump in the water flow, how much pressure is coming out, it'll dump out the bottom because it'll go out towards the end of the hose. If that piece doesn't work, which is a minute part for the most part, then we take that entire engine out of service, even though it does everything else perfect. Yet if there's a person on the engine or on the fire in the cop car that can't pass whatever standards or whatever doing or can't do the job that they need to do, they're allowed to stay there because of unions. And I love the unions for what they've done for the fire and cops. I'm not saying that they're bad, but when people are allowed to stay in because the union or the department is worried about discrimination, like, fuck it. They can't do the job. Get off the engine.
Caleb, could you Google retarder and fire engine? The retarder. That's what CNN should change their name to. The retarder. Are you an able-bodied thinker? Can you think for yourself? Watch CNN 3 hours a day. We will retard you. We are known as the retarder. Here's the thing with Don. I want Don to he's coming on the retarder in the engine. What is the retarder used for? Retarders are used to further improve the braking performance on commercial vehicles like engine brakes. They are wear-free continuous brakes. Retarders relieve different kind. Interesting. Okay, well, thank you.
That's
the
right.
Retarder. For all you social justice warriors, get on that shit. Okay. Don Faul, CEO of CrossFit, he's coming on the show on the 17th.
Nice.
Nice. I'm super excited to just hear his story, where he came from, what it was like growing up, what it's like raising the 3 daughters he has. One of the cool things is we tried to set up a time for 7 a.m. with him, and he said, hey, I got to go to the gym and get my 3 daughters ready for, in the morning, daughter time. I'm assuming take them to school or whatever. I fucking love that. That's just the way he said that.
Yeah.
And I just want to be chill. I'd like it to be like, so he feels comfortable coming back again. That also being said, I feel like it would, I'd betray myself if I didn't ask some of the more poignant questions, like, is the affiliate program really just a brand loyalty payment? Do the owners who bought CrossFit realize that the way they're running it is like Harley Davidson when it's really the Hell's Angels? That you're not selling motorcycles, you're actually selling a brand and a lifestyle. It's a cult. There's all of these, what happened in the NSCA case? Oh, I need to write that down on my note. Like, do I ask him that when he comes on? He's so new, he might not even know about the NSCA case. The fact that it was settled and we, the affiliates, never got to know what happened.
I don't think that.
Do I ask him that stuff, or do I just be chill and like?
Because honestly, whether he knows about the NSCA case or not,
and I wouldn't blame him if he didn't. He's only been there fucking 6 months or 3 months. Like, what the fuck? How much could he possibly know?
Like, for me, it would be like, okay, you stepped into you came into a gigantic ball of shit.
Yeah.
You know that, right?
Yeah.
Like, what made you?
Another good question.
What made you want to step into that? Like, what made you want to?
Can I use that?
Yeah, totally.
Why did you want to
step in a ball of shit?
Giant ball of shit. Maybe the potential's massive.
Well, of course it is.
When you step into a ball of shit.
Of course it is, because you kind of have nowhere to go but up.
Yeah, I know. I don't want to fuck it up. I don't want to fuck it up, but
If you aren't asking,
I won't fuck it up. Just so you know.
if you, I don't, I wouldn't even be worried about that. If you aren't being you and asking the questions, he's coming on here.
Yeah.
He's coming onto your show knowing what kind of questions you're going to ask.
Right.
And I don't think it's wrong to ask those questions. I mean, because again, what you do well is you ask hard questions, but you always give the props on whatever it is that they're doing well.
Right.
You know, if he gives a good answer, you could be like, wow, come on, seriously on this one. Or if he says something, you're like, oh, okay, cool. I get that.
Right. Right.
I mean, he really is. If I was in his spot as a old school CrossFitter, as a military, ex-military guy, and having that sort of personality, I'd be like, bring it at me, dude. Like, let me say what I have to say. I might not have all the answers. I might not, might be like, oh shit, I didn't even think about that one. But at least he's going to be like, look, we're going to try to get it back to where it's supposed to be. And I think what it's like, okay, what is it supposed to be then? What do you see it as now?
Let me ask you this. If you were born into, let's say tomorrow I had you switch into, what's the guy's name? Usain Bolt's body.
Okay.
How long would it take you to figure out you're the fastest man on the planet? And I use that as a metaphor that Don has landed in the position of CEO, and those of us have been around forever. We know shit. Like, we know that we're looking at Usain Bolt and be like, dude, you're the fastest man in the world, but he doesn't know because he just landed in there. You see what I'm trying to draw here? Like, he doesn't know the power probably that the media team used to have. He doesn't know that what causes affiliates to leave or affiliates to come back. He probably doesn't know about the NSCA case. He doesn't know who the enemies are, who the good guys are, he just appeared, but he's in this fucking amazing body.
Maybe he does know.
And who's gonna tell him? I mean, there's 1,000, like there's the fucking justice warriors, like, you're a black man who's been a victim of the white man and you're oppressed. And then there's those of us over here like, you're the fastest man who's ever lived. Don't listen to them. It's not relevant. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can win. You're gonna be a billionaire with your fucking Puma contract. Do not listen to those people over there. You're a poor Jamaican. Run for office. No, go to, I mean, you know what I mean? Well, like, he's landed in this body. The potential for CrossFit is fucking insane.
So check this out.
And does he know it? Or is
he jumps into Bolt's body.
Yeah.
Has the ability to be the fastest man on the planet.
Yeah.
And then actually realizes that he's really good at chemistry and comes up with something that like saves the world that way.
Okay.
So maybe when he comes into Greg's spot,
he
can see the things that he has, but again, like, he doesn't have to be Greg.
Oh shit, maybe I'm not going to give Don a chance. Maybe you pegged me. And no one clip that and say, maybe you pegged me.
Oh man,
I saw your face, Caleb.
I mean, at the same.
Are you saying that I want that? Do you hear in my voice that, like, I'm just trying to make it go back to the old days, and that's
there's an element of that, because the old days were fucking good.
Fuck, this podcast,
dude,
they
over. Were, huh?
Fuck that.
And we're done. Thanks for coming, and talk to you later.
No, go on.
I think that when you look back at how it was so new and so exciting, and man, it was rolling so fast, and like the upward trajectory of what CrossFit and what Greg was doing was, I mean, the explosion was out of control, and it felt so good to be part of something that was so cool and so exciting and so fun and so like raw, and it was amazing. Then even at Greg, like, I remember like 2018, like Greg was pulling away, and he pulls all the media stuff out, and he goes from saying, okay, here's how you're going to decide what division you're in, to, all right, we're going to do what the Olympic does, and you can say whatever it is that you want to be in. You can identify with whatever. And I'm like everything just imploded. All of a sudden, all the stuff that we are part of just fractured all over the place. And, and Greg had his reasons for doing whatever he was going to do. It was Greg's show. He could do whatever he wanted. If he was going to go out and he's like, I want to pull the plug on everything, okay, fine. The pieces that Eric had to pick up when he came in with the skill set that he had, which is, I'm going to be as inclusive, and we want everyone to be in, and we want to be, it turned into a money game. And us old people that came from Greg's, that cloth, like, that made no sense to us. Made no sense. And the brand couldn't handle that. The brand couldn't handle that big of a switch from, fuck you, we're going in, it's going to be down and dirty, we're getting after it, to it's really pretty and everyone come in and we're not going to hurt anyone's feelings. And it's like, that's all we do, is hurt people's feelings. And we talk about cult, man, cult. We don't care about that. It's okay to have your feelings hurt. Like, we'll all come back, I'll give you a hug afterwards, it's fine. Like, we're all good. So that's
okay to have your feelings hurt. It's okay. You're lucky.
Yeah. You're
lucky. It means you're alive. You're lucky.
So they're out. Dawn's in, and it's like, okay, man, like, what do you?
Hey, that stings a little bit, by the way, for all the people who got fired by the regime that's now out. That sucks.
Yeah, totally.
Do you know what I mean? I was talking to someone the other day who got fired. I'm like, damn, the dude who fired you doesn't even work there anymore. And they're like, yep. And it's that sucks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you ever think
put up Mike Bell's fitness shorts, dude? That's funny. If you two do CrossFit, then why don't you two look like superheroes?
Do you ever think that
line it up, dude? Line it up. That's funny.
Do you ever think that on yours and Chase's show that you're both kind of wide open? There's no, like, you're the same guy twice. Do you know what I mean? Like
no.
I understand Sean and Chase. I would understand like Sean and Bill. But you have like two guys. Like, I couldn't imagine a show with Sevan and Sevan. It would be like I would not want to be around another one of me. I couldn't.
You don't think that, like, you and Matt are like rolling down the same? Come on. Here's what I'll say with me and Chase. Me and Chase are not, I wouldn't say that we're the same. We are cut from the same cloth on a lot of things. We're both athletes, long-time athletes, so we have a lot of the same kind of feels. We like the firing, get excited and get fired up about certain things, but I don't think that we are always exactly the same.
I don't think you're exactly the same. I just mean you're both extremely outspoken.
No, I wouldn't disagree with that.
Outspoken, yeah.
I wouldn't disagree with that. I think that,
but you guys make it work. Don't get me wrong, but
you're talking about how we push that way. So I think
on the show, there's not the there's no Penn and Teller.
No,
it's Chase and Bill.
I think that I realize, and maybe this is an age thing.
Yeah, Susan's the nice version of me. Yeah, I'd say yeah.
Chase, I know that Chase gets on rolls and he wants to get up on his soapbox, and it's like, hey man, do your thing. Me, I don't. If I was younger, I think I would maybe feel like I want to get on my soapbox too. A lot of times for me, I'll just like, I'm a little bit more patient now, so I can just kind of sit back and wait, and then I can just say my piece.
Okay, so you guys you do see yourselves as different in that way.
I think we're kind of
complementary.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
It's like,
I love when he gets all riled. It cracks me up. It's funny.
Do you think that some like, out of like, how often do you guys go on?
Once or twice a week.
It's kind of impressive what Morning Chalk Up has done. That dude LaFranco started it as a email, just an email he sends to people, and then now it's a full blown. They're doing all sorts of shit. You know, they do writing, they do video, they're just everywhere. Who now? There's a lot of people in the space. I feel like there's so many choices. There's kind of the lifestyle stuff that like maybe Craig Ritchie and the Buttery Bros are doing. And I don't mean to just pigeonhole them. They do other stuff too. And then there's all these like podcasts. Or like reports, and they're different length. Everyone's trying different things. There's you guys, there's Clydesdale, there's Jason Media, there's Hiller, there's who's the other, what other podcaster? There's the Wads and Pods guy. Who do you think someone's gonna tap? Like, do you think eventually like Armin tapped, right? Did Armin tap?
I haven't seen that guy around in a long time.
Yeah, so he had a crazy run. He was the guy.
Right. He was the guy.
And then he had unprotected sex, and now he's not. He's kind of, we don't know where he went. He just
I think people will tap out when it's always easy to be in the mix when things are flowing easily, or like you're in the beginning, so you have all this energy.
Yeah.
But you have to kind of, I think for me and Chase, we really try to stay in the space of the programming realm. Is something programmed a particular way? Why is it programmed a particular way? And I think even with the Glassman book club thing that we're doing, it falls into why are you making it this way? Why are you designing it this way? Here's all you really need to do to have an effective program or to have an effective gym or whatever. And we try to stay in our lane with that. I know that we've had people that have wanted to have us talk about different things on our show, and that was something that we always tried to really hold true to, which is we're going to stay in our lane. I think that wherever these other people go, they're going to have to play with that. They're going to have to play with that realm. If they want to compete with, I'm going to look at everything. Okay, well, then you have some giants that you're going to have to compete with. And you may compete with them for a little while or be all excited in the beginning. But then you're going to have to, after the first handful of months of being out there, it's like, are you doing it because you're trying to get something, or are you doing it because you really enjoy this? I think you have always been the talker, the questioner, let me kind of see what I can dig on under the surface of whatever, of all of the different aspects of things that you're talking about. The morning chalk up, I think something that they need personally that they need to be careful of is how broad they go, because if they go too broad, then it's a very shallow depth on all the things that they're talking about. Like, it would kind of crack me up when they started talking about how the affiliate should run their business. I'm like, well, what the hell are you guys talking about? Is anyone even listening to you for that? Because what
lane do you think they should stay in?
It's a good question. I don't know. I could see them as the general. They're like the general news source. The silly little stories that you hear on the side. Like, not silly, and I don't mean that in a derogatory way.
Do you think they should keep it superficial? Do you think that's their thing? Like, to tell us when the games is, to tell us that someone did CrossFit and they were blind and now they can see again. They should tell us that affiliate fees have been raised. They should just report the facts, or
their thing is like talking about the fact that like athletes aren't getting paid on the podium,
or about the athlete's sick dog. Do you know what that's in reference to?
No.
Someone used, I can't fucking remember, was it Emma McQuaid? Someone used basically that their dog had a seizure as a reason for why they didn't do well at an event. And I'm not making fun of them. That's fine. Like, to each his own, but it is still, but I am also making fun of you too. Like you got to make fun of that.
Oh man. I think where they are when they talk about that kind of stuff, it's like, oh, that's pretty interesting stuff. And I would browse through that like I browse through the normal, newspaper clip things that kind of come across my feed. I I don't see them getting super, super deep. I see you getting super, super deep. I see.
Should they? Should they?
I honestly, I think they're where they do best is they're a lot of information, not a lot of information on one thing, a lot of information, all of the things. These guys aren't paying these things. These things came up here. This thing happened over here. This thing happened over here. It's almost like these like nuggets.
Like maybe they should be a conductor and just pointing shit out, and the rest of us go down and track down the
kinda.
details.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, I think that's what, like, when you look at like what Brian does, they will have the one little piece, and then Brian is the one that goes deep on it.
Yeah.
And that's why I think that Barben, saw him and decided to take that, to pull him into that.
Are you do you work for CrossFit every year? Is there something like do you cross paths with Inc. HQ every year, like some sort of?
If they do commentary stuff and they bring me in, then I do it with them that way. I've never officially worked for CrossFit. I was always an independent contractor whenever they brought me in.
Have you ever missed a games where you didn't commentate?
Yeah.
Recently?
Yeah. I didn't do the 2019 games. That's when they had that first weird thing, and the Rogue kind of did their thing, and everyone kind of separated out.
That was the nations when they had like all the nations there. Okay.
Yeah, that was the first one, and then I didn't do. That was the one before. Was the Aromas 21?
Oh, the one where there were only 5 athletes who went to the games?
Yeah, the one before that I didn't do.
But you did 2022.
Yeah. I did it with the Masters. I did the Masters division.
And when you're called to do that, is that through Doobie's company? Like
the last time they did.
So you basically, they say, "Oh, we're covering the Masters. Will you commentate it?"
Yeah.
And who did you do it with?
I did it with Jeff Brightwell.
Do they did you put on hiatus because there wasn't work, or was it political? Or yes.
From what I was told,
yeah.
Someone in HQ didn't feel that I was growing as a commentator enough, and so they decided that I shouldn't be there. And I was like, no one told me what it was. No one told me who it was.
If you were on the L1 team, they would have given you the feedback straight to your face.
Well, I don't know.
I
mean, in the old days,
if you would work for Dave and Nicole, they would have told you. Someone
in the old, exactly, in the old days, and that was the whole thing. Is like,
someone told you.
I just wanted, like, tell me, like, man, I'm a big kid. Like,
Yeah.
if I'm not doing something, but also, like, if I'm not doing something, don't tell me after the fact. Like, if there's a reason that you don't want me, cool. But if I can fix it, tell me before you say that you don't want me because I'm not doing whatever. Like, just let me know, I'll fix it. But
maybe I should do a ranking show for commentators with Brian.
Well, no one's tried to cancel me yet, so who knows?
What about 2023?
If they want me to come out, I'll come out and do. I love doing it. If they want me there, I love being part of it. Yeah.
Oh, another thing. A bunch of people told me yesterday were reaching out to me, telling me that the games in 2024 were moving to Birmingham. You guys, I told you, I said that on the show fucking 8 months ago.
Really?
Yeah, Birmingham, Alabama. It's definitely. I mean, going back to 2019 or 2018, it was a very serious possibility. It was one of the possibilities even before Madison. Birmingham, Madison, Jackson was also. I
remember Jackson, but like, geez, oh man, like in summertime, Florida, ew.
How about Birmingham's going to be fucking hot as shit too?
I mean, what are they going to call it? Like the humidity games? What are they going to call it?
So when you don't work the games, you don't go to the games.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, me neither. I couldn't do that.
Yeah, it was it was very I mean, obviously I wasn't very happy about it. I mean, I was no fuck it. I was fucking pissed.
Yeah.
Like because it was like again, like just fucking tell me. Like if you want me to fix something, tell me. But I can't
And
fix it
it's
if
what
you
you
don't tell me.
do. And it's
And I
what you do. Trust me, I understand. I was
well,
pissed too. I was
and
pissed
I
when I wasn't going either.
yeah, yeah. I mean, like I feel that what's really hard is that I mean, there are friendships and relationships that are there, and when you've worked with a group of people for a really really long time, you think that at least like that's the least you can do is just tell me. Give me a heads up. If you want me to fix something, I'll fix it. But, loyalties are a big thing to me. That's always been something that's real important to me. And like, even back in the old grid days, I mean, you were the first person that I talked to about grid. I'm like, hey, man, I know you got the inside track over there. I really want to do this grid thing because I need masters athletes. What do
Oh,
you
that's
think?
right. That's right.
You were the first person
That's
I hit
right.
up because I knew you could talk to Dave. I knew you could talk to Greg, and I wanted to know. I mean, I don't want to ruin what I had at the time, And
Right.
it's so,
Right.
and
What
when
were the
they're like,
politics? Yeah.
and it was like, hey, well, he's the voice of CrossFit, so if he's gonna be part of that, then like these are two competing things, and I'm like, okay, well then I'm out. And I was gonna be offered, dude, they were gonna offer me a lot of money to do that stuff. I mean, I probably would have never gotten paid because there were a lot of athletes that
Right.
didn't get paid on that.
Right.
But because masters were such an inch in the beginning of that setup, you had to have a masters athlete, and I was one of the good older people back then. I mean, they were going to offer, I mean, way more than I was getting, even for doing commentary stuff.
I'm going to a big party on I don't know if it's a party. Yeah, it's a party. It's a brain party on Friday night, and the host just sent me a text and told me to invite you.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, that is cool. I didn't know this person even listened to the show. It's making me nervous. Brother, thanks for coming on. Love you to death.
Yeah, dude, I love it, man. Anytime. I've told you that before. Like, open whenever you want me to come in. Let me know.
Okay.
Drop anytime.
Okay. And same. You're always welcome. I don't know what took so long. It was kind of funny too. I just remember I was just kind of like wherever I was like laying in bed or whatever. I'm like, holy fuck, I can't believe I haven't had Bill Grundler on yet. And I just sent the text, hey, come on.
We have like, it's hysterical how we've all gone in our directions, but like our history is, I think, one of the classic CrossFit stories of all time. I think it's hysterical.
Yes. For the next show, we'll tell it.
Okay, cool.
All right, guys, everyone, thanks for checking in. Bill Grundler, you're the man.
Thanks, dude, you are.
And I'll talk to you. I'm sure I'll be texting with you today, like every day.
Perfect.
Later, brother.
Later, man.
Can you come on? Ah, yes. Nice to see you. He's great, isn't he? I didn't even have to use any of my notes.
I was going to say, did you even touch them? You had a lot of notes for that one.
Yeah. I didn't have to touch any of my notes. Hey, I would love to do a live call-in show with him, like where we don't talk about CrossFit, but I just bring up all the crazy shit. But I feel bad. I don't want to drag him into the fucking insanity.
Drag him through the mud.
Yeah, drag him in front of tranny talk. But he'd be so fun. He's such a good talker.
Yeah, he's good.
All right. I don't know. I don't see the UFC. Do we have the UFC show scheduled tomorrow?
I don't.
We have live call-in show.
Yeah, I think that's what we have tomorrow.
But have you, if you go to YouTube and you type in UFC schedule, you usually see this fucking amazing schedule. Oh, so there are no fights again.
Really?
Oh, there are no fights.
Oh yeah. Not till next week.
Yeah, and I only see two they don't even have the card laid out.
Yeah, they only have 4 fights scheduled.
Look at this guy, Victor Henry. Can you see him?
Yeah.
Look at that hair.
He looks like Tarzan.
He does look like Tarzan. You guys want to see something funny that I sent to? Yeah, he totally looks like Tarzan. Holy shit, it's a 35-year-old dude fighting a 40-year-old dude. That 40-year-old dude's 5'4".
Oh my God.
I would fit right in between those two. It's 5'5", a healthy 5'5".
You think you'd take either of those guys?
No, I couldn't even beat one of those guys if they were fucking blindfolded. Did you see the link that I sent you? Can we just play that before we
The car?
Yeah. Let's just play before we go. This shit is fucking crazy. Did you watch this yet?
Yeah.
This is fucking nuts. Check this out, guys. This is in California somewhere.
What the heck is going on right here? This person's sparking, all doors open right here. I cannot believe this guy's car is even going down the 405 freeway, but he's making it happen here on one wheel, apparently. Rather dangerous situation happening here on the 405. Tailgate open. There's no tailgate party going on in sight, but this guy is just letting it all hang loose right now. Front wheel is definitely out. Let's see what this person's smoking. Damn.
That camera works amazing.
Get off the road. Miss, get out of the car.
Yeah.
Are you on drugs right now?
No, not at all. My car gave out. I mean, I had somebody help me before, and apparently the brake did not stop.
Do you know you're driving on 3 wheels right now? Your wheel's completely out. You just crashed into this gentleman right here.
You
You're a hazard. You're on the freeway.
80 miles on the freeway, on the 3 wheels.
I'm going to trade it.
You need to get out of the car.
I will.
Just get out of the car,
Just leave
miss.
the car.
You're on drugs right now. You're on
No,
painkillers.
I'm
There's
So
some.
leave
Yes,
the
you
car.
are.
Oh my God.
You are on some drugs right now.
Oh my God. Absolutely.
Put your
not.
car.
Okay, hold on a minute. Hold on. So here's the thing. When he's telling her to get out of the car, I want to fucking kick him in the face. Like, hey, dude, don't tell, like, shut the fuck up. Like, you've overstepped your bounds. But was he right?
Yeah, dude. She's fucked up. I can't believe she was like actually driving that so well. And she's on drugs.
Oh my God, that was, and she kind of talked normal, and the way she was holding her wallet in her hand, she just looked like some lady who was in line at fucking Safeway. You know what I mean? Like,
She had like a little bit of a slur, but like it was very minor. She's probably
I saw that this
high-functioning
morning, and I'm
alcoholic.
like, maybe like if shit gets bad with Bill, I'll play this. What do you mean? There's no way I'm 5'5"? I look like I'm 5'9" or something. 5'10", 5'11".
probably
I know.
closer.
I know. I look taller. I'm proportioned perfectly. Sevan, that lady's on the road with you and your kids. Don't be sympathetic towards her. She's high as fuck. Fair. Okay. Brandon Waddle. Fine. Waddell. Fine. You win. Thank you for unfucking me. That's how we get away with it, right? Trish. I know we know who Trish is, right? That's like Wad Zombie's alter ego or some shit.
It's gotta be.
They're so good. Trish is so good. I'd say Trish is like MVP.
She's pretty good.
Oh, that's bullshit. You mean 6'1". Typo. All right, tomorrow, 7 a.m. If it's a live call-in show, it is going to be one of the craziest live call-in shows ever. Because I have so many fucking crazy notes and good videos. I'm so fucking excited. I'm so excited. I got a 60-pound. So someone in the comments said that I can't snatch 100 pounds with a 100-pound dumbbell, and that I was lying, that I'd never done that. So I had a 50-pound dumbbell that I've been playing with, and so yesterday I got a 60-pound dumbbell, and I actually snatched it 20 times yesterday, not in a row.
20 rep max.
But it was like 11 o'clock at night. I went in there, I rode the assault bike for 10 minutes. I was dripping sweat, or maybe 10:30 at night, and then I just did 20 alternating hands with the 60-pound dumbbell, resting in between, like 15, 20 seconds in between. But the 60 felt good, totally doable. The 60 does not feel doable cold, by the way. Like if I have to move the 60-pound dumbbell from one side of the room to the other, and you ask me, could you snatch that? There's no fucking way. But after 10 minutes on the assault bike and I'm dripping wet, it goes up. It goes up pretty easy. So now I need to get a 70 pound. I'm going to just keep buying. Yeah. And I'm going to wait a month. I'm going to buy a 70 pound dumbbell.
Progressive overload. I like it. It's smart.
Is that what that's called?
Yeah.
And then I'm going to snatch a 100-pound dumbbell, and that'll be that. Maybe 110.
You gonna have it filmed?
Of course. Everything is to be filmed, Caleb.
Filmed or it didn't happen.
2022, baby. It's all for likes and follows. All right, guys. Thank you. See everyone soon.